Welcome everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I have this gorgeous little cracker to show you how to create. Now if you've been following me last month, you may have saw this little box, Comfort and Joy box, using the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. I made this one. I thought this would make a great cracker box with both ends being like a cracker. So it's a little bit different width and all that, so it's a little bit different than our first box, but I'm so excited to be showing you how to make this one. The supplies needed for this one: we have the Perfectly Plaid stamp set, and I'm using this tree here as well as the Sentiment North Pole delivery. It's wrapped in the gorgeous Toile Tidings Designer Series paper. Now this one is really pretty, lots of designs, all in cherry cobbler and garden green. I have the garden green double stitched ribbon to give it that little bit of extra pop and dimension. Inks, we have Versamark ink and garden green, and we're also using the copper embossing powder. Our sentiment here is created using the 2-inch circle punch and the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. So I think that's everything that we need. I'm going to bring in my kit here. Now all the measurements and supplies can be found over my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description of this video. It's also a link to my online store if you would like to purchase anything to make this project or to make another project or card. If you do so in my online store and use the hostess code for the month, not only will I send you out a free gift, whether it be a project or a card, I will also send you via email a bundle tutorial pack. Now it's always over 50 tutorials, color photos, instructions, directions, dimensions, everything that you will need. It's a great bundle, and each month it's a different bundle, so there's so much value in that. And you can also earn yourself Inky rewards. For every $50 you'll earn Inky reward, and when you reach a certain amount you will get a free product. Now you can check that all out over my blog as well. All of it's outlined there for you. So we have a pretty quick and easy little kit here. We have garden green cardstock for our sentiment, and just needs to be enough to be able to punch out a 1 3/4 inch circle punch. We need enough very vanilla cardstock to punch out a 2-inch. No, sorry, this one is the 1 3/4. This one is a 2-inch circle that we're cutting out. We have the Toile Tidings Designer Series paper as our little wrapper around our bonbon, and also the cardstock in garden green to make the bonbon. Now, if you had seen my video on the little Comfort and Joy box, you can see that there was a little bit to the folding to get these great edges here. So let's get started on this one. I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in and we're going to create this gorgeous box. So our garden green piece measures 7 by 8 1/4 inch, and we're going to score at the 7-inch mark at 2 and 5 inches. And then we're going to move it to the 8 1/4 inch side, and we're going to score at 2, 4, 6 and 8 inches. Okay, so that leaves us with our design here. Let's get rid of this. We are going to need a stylus and our ruler to do a little bit more scoring. I'm going to move my tab to my left hand side, so we have that little tab here. I'm going to bring the stylus and my ruler in. So for the top, with the tab being on our left, the top one we are going to score from this top to our score lines, and we're going to do that on each of those score lines. So let's do that first. Okay, for our bottom one, we're going to go the opposite way. So we're going to go from this top score line to the edge. So from this score line to the edge of that tab. We're going to go that way on each of those lines. Same as we've done at the top, but we're going the opposite way. So we're left with this look. So we're going to fold and score on all our main score lines. These are the 2, 4, 6 and 8 inch lines. And our little tab. Now we need to work on these lines here. So we need to fold over. So this is our right way. We need to fold over the right way. Now these, if you fold up, there's a score line here, fold up, that creates this piece here, and we're just going to bring in the bone folder and just create that great score line there. Same as the next one. So these two score lines meet up on top of each other. Hopefully I'm explaining that well. Okay. Now we're going back over itself again. So this corner is our corner edge. We're going to go back over itself. So where we folded in, we're folding in on the same side. Moving to the next one where the two score lines meet. Once you're doing it, it all makes sense. And if you've done your score lines really well, the box will go together a lot easier too. So the next thing we need to do is we need to take a little bit off each corner here, because if you don't, you're going to see it in the top of the box or the side of the box. So I'm just going to take off that much on each side. Hopefully that was enough to make sure that nothing's shown. So let's bring the tear and tape in, and we're just going to run a length of the tear and tape along. Now it's going to be a little bit bigger than we need, but we're just going to fold it back over itself. I'll show you that in a second. So running the tear and tape along the edge of that score line. Taking that backing off, and then you're going to see that there is a bit over hanging. We're just going to fold it over on top of itself. Okay. And there we have our box. Now the tricky part, getting the box to close. So we have our score lines done. We're just going to work them around. There we go. So that went together quite well. It all comes down to how well you've scored your pieces. There we go. So it comes together quite well once you've scored them well. There we have the bonbon. So now we're going to bring in the design series paper and wrap it around. Now working where there's my edge here. So I want to start over that first. And I'm just going to crease where the edges of the box is. So I can take that back off now, use those crease marks to run my finger over them. You can use your bone folder if you want. Design series paper can be a little bit funny if you use the bone folder too much. You can crack it, so I just like to use my fingers. Creates a nice little effect anyway. So I'm going to run some tear and tape along the box. Now I will say I only taped down the edges, but you can see it sort of lifts on the side there. You can see that. I don't want that for this box, so I'm going to run some tear and tape along. Run out, so let me go and grab another one. New one here. So I'm going to run a piece along both edges. How good would these look on your table at Christmas? And the great thing is people can take them home. You don't have to wreck them, which is even better. So finding my edge again, I'm going to take off. I'm not going to take off the whole lot. I'm just going to tear the backing off as I go. So we have enough there. There's my edge. So I'm going to line. Line it up there. Let's bring our backings off a little. Rest off now. I've got enough down to make it work. Now these two edges I want to pop another little bit of tear and tape down. Probably would have been easier to put it on at the same time that I put the two strips on either side. Doesn't matter. Let's take the backing off this one. Okay, and the backing off this one as well. Oh, isn't that so sweet? So let's do our little tag. So I have the very vanilla piece. I'm going to bring in the garden green and we're going to stamp that little tree from the Perfectly Plaid stamp set. I'm also going to, so this is garden green ink. I want to stamp off first and then stamp this one down. Great. Now because we're going to a heat emboss, I'm going to just run my embossing buddy over the top. And the Versamark ink and that sentiment that says North Pole delivery. Copper embossing, because I thought the copper with the very vanilla and the garden green just looks so pretty. dimensional backing in my embossing powder. It gets everywhere. I'm going to bring the heat tool in and I'm just going to heat that embossing powder. So let's just let that dry, or cool down for a minute. I'm going to bring in the 2-inch circle punch and punch out a garden green 2-inch circle. You could also use your layering circles. The 1 3/4 inch should be right now to punch that out. I'm going to glue that down with some Tombow glue straight down onto my garden green. I'm going to pop this up onto the cracker with some dimensionals. Popping him right in the middle. Now this is fairly big ribbon, but it does tie a decent bow there. So let's create one here. It's pretty thick, stiff ribbon as well. I think that's a perfect size. Just going to create my little and to stick that down, we're just going to pop a glue dot under the knot. How great would they look on your table? You do the real red and the garden green together on the table, mixed matched in between each other, and that would look so good on the table. Love how this turns out. I think I might even do that and see how that looks. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's box. If you'd like to see how the one side is worked, go back and check that out. That was last month that I made this one. And all the measurements and supplies can be seen in that blog post as well that's linked. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. If you have, please give me a thumbs up and I'd love it if you left me a comment. I'll be back on Thursday with another project and I hope that you can join me for that as well. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.